Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lando's Lessons. Happy to be here, and hopefully, you're happy to check out what I got to say today. Um, so, I want to get into a topic that I was thinking about earlier this week while I was at work, and I did some thinking after I got off and realized that I had a topic for this week, and that's going to be relationships. My experiences and what I'm going through right now, and a little bit of what I hope for, I guess, maybe. But anyway, so what got me thinking was I was going through my past, my history, and trying to figure out exactly, you know, where I've been and why I am where I am now, as far as not committed to anything. To be honest and brutally honest, just completely lonely in that regard. And I realized that literally every part of what I would say was fun, um, any type of romantic entanglement or, um, I guess, date to a degree, um, every kiss, um, every time I had sex, it was all based upon alcohol. And it's just a revelation to put that together because I, for one, I am an awkward dude. I am. I have problem with eye contact. I have problem keeping up conversations, depending on the circumstance. Which, when it comes to being interested in somebody, it gets way worse than if it's just some random conversation about some movie. It it it, it it eats away at me, honestly. And I'm not sure if anyone can relate, but I hyper fixate on it whenever I'm done talking to somebody or done trying to introduce myself to somebody, just because it's just like, okay, well, that was bad, this was bad, why did you say this, why did you do this, and it just goes on and on. Um, Honestly, I feel like I have some type of mental thing because of just how I feel regarding it, but I won't get into that because it's not known for sure. So, yeah, going back to what I was saying, everything from my past, because in high school I was a goody goody. I didn't do anything whatsoever. I was too focused on grades and shit. I hardly even cussed. I didn't do much of anything. But high school ended, went to college, and opened up the floodgates, and that's where I first started dabbling in alcohol, and down the road of other things, just trying to find happiness, in some way, shape, or form, without looking in, without looking above. I just they weren't the focus because I was too busy drowning in bottles. So now I am sober for over a year and a half. Now I am, with the grace of God, working through a lot of issues that stumbled upon or that I've stumbled upon throughout my life. Childhood traumas, traumas are older as I gotten older, crippling depression, anxiety. These are all things that people can relate to. Everyone has their things, um, but it's just mind blowing that I honestly feel like, maturity wise, I'm just leaving high school again, because everything before, I mean, everything after that until, recently, until 3.5, 4 years ago, was was driven by addiction and depression and just paranoia, and just, even when things were good, it was because of things that were bad. I i wish I could say I've had a long-term relationship in that regard, but everything was short-term, everything were hookups, because if I wanted to seek more, even, I I was afraid. I wasn't nervous. I was afraid because inhibitions were knocked down thanks to the alcohol. So, you know, you have your fun, um, you text for a little while back and forth, and then eventually I would just go ghost. Um, I'd like to say it was vice versa, but the majority of the time it was me. It was me being in my own head. And the worst part about it was anyone I got close to a very high level, I pushed away at some point. And that goes tenfold for romantic relationships as well. I I was operating from a lot of self hatred. I didn't think I deserved love, and anytime I got any semblance of it, I shoved them away. Um, I either went ghost or I just said horrible things. Um, I didn't do anything, like no, nothing physical or anything of that nature. Like I just emotionally, I was just like, no, get away. And I wouldn't even address the real issue because I had so much shame inside of it. I didn't know how to express myself or understand myself to the point where all my issues were stemming from self hatred and addiction. And, it's easy to look back in hindsight. I still to this day have regrets regarding how I treated certain people and how I handled certain situations, but it's nothing I can do about it. You can apologize, but can't change the past. So, yeah, not I despise it. But talking about the present, I have been trying to force myself out there. Um, Part of me, I've been putting in a lot of work in the sense of trying to get a better understanding of who I am. I want to live authentically as possible. I've been masking my entire life, even before alcoholism. I've been trying to fit into what people consider normal, and I don't think I am. As hard as that is to say right now, I, I just don't think I am what is prototypically known as normal. So I've been going to events and things of that nature, trying to make sure I treat myself and go out the things that I enjoy, and also do like meetup or something like that nature where there's an event or something I can attend where there are going to be people there guaranteed. And it just hasn't been working, and I think part of it is me once again. It just isn't coming together, and I don't know why. So the past like month or so, I've cut back and kind of have gone, into solo dolo mode, chilling at home and what have you, not going out as much, and that's not going to change anything, and I recognize that. But I need to find a middle ground, and I think if you can relate, you're forcing yourself into situations, trying to get out there and put yourself out there, but it's draining, and especially when you feel like you fucked up the majority of things, you start to ruminate, and it just eats at you. It just eats at you, and that's not something that feels good. So it's easier to just go back into solo mode and chill at the house. Watch your favorite shows or hop on a game, or whatever. But I know that that's not going to help anything. So it, to those who are struggling, just know that you're not alone, because I know I've been going through it, and that realization that literally everything in the romantic side of my life was aided or entangled with alcohol absolutely sucks. I feel like I said before, I feel like my maturity level when it comes to relationships is back to early college, high school, just because I haven't had that type of serious thing. And wow, it was a revelation, but at the same time, as much as it eats away at me now, it's good to have it because now things are a little bit more in alignment mentally. But geez, man, if anyone else has gotten out of long term addiction or depression or anything of that nature, and you realize that your relationships were founded upon those things, how are you getting about? How are you putting yourself out there? How are you finding a way to have conversations that are authentic and filled with love and interest? Because I feel like I'm playing a game, and I'll be damned if I ain't losing. That's just how it is right now. So it it's crazy, man. Don't don't take the ones you have for granted, even when you have your little arguments or your tiffs or whatever the heck. It's so refreshing to have someone in your life for those slow moments, just as much as it is for those big moments. It love is an incredible thing. I am one of the people who says I love, and that comes with not a lot of experience of it, but just seeing it when it's actually real in front of you, it just warms the heart to the umpteenth degree. It's something that I crave, and part of me still thinks I don't deserve it. Fortunately, for those who feel that way, we all know that we do. The majority of us do, and for those who don't, you do. You do deserve love, but it's not going to just show up at your door. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be honest. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be so vulnerable, because that's the only way you're going to find someone who truly sees you inside and out, is to put yourself out there to that degree. And ideally, if you don't have that, if you're not doing that, and they aren't doing that, then is it love? I'd say no. I'd say it's temporary, it's infatuation. I'd say it's physical. I'd say it's for pleasure's sake, for not being lonely. But to put out that vulnerability, to be completely metaphorically naked, and say sometimes physically, but metaphorically naked to them, all scars and all, like that's what love is. That's what my parents have, because the 30 plus years that they've been together. I think that's what my sister has right now. He's a really good dude. I think they're a good pair. So, starting to ramble here, but just a reminder to anybody: you are worthy of love. You are valid in that thinking. Don't let your inner demons and inner thoughts take that away from you, because you are worthy of love. Just know that to seek it out, to have it, truly have it, you gotta be vulnerable. And I know that can be hard depending on what you've gone through in your life, the betrayals that come along the way with life, the heartbreak that have happened in your past, whether it be relationship based or whether it be otherwise, your family, your friends, your job, that can deter you from putting yourself out there again, because you just don't want to get hurt anymore. And that's how I feel to a degree. I really don't want to get hurt. That's a part of the process. So don't be afraid to embrace the awkwardness, the struggle. Um, that's what I have to do, and I hope that anyone who's going through it and actively trying to change it can realize the same. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be icky. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. It that that's part of the process. No one has that fairy tale type love. I've seen high school sweethearts end in divorce. I've seen marriages over 30 years end in divorce. Like to think my parents aren't gonna, but you never know. Uh, I've I've seen people who seem to be bitter enemies fall in love, and they have the strongest bond ever. Some some anime shit. But anyway, you you can't call it, you can't guess it, you can't see the future. So why not take a chance on now? Why not put yourself out there? Be vulnerable. Be you. Be authentic. Because the masking, the pretending, that doesn't lead to a healthy relationship. That leads to the temporary that we mentioned before. So, at times when you're not in peace, look to God. In times you're not in peace, talk talk to the peers, the family that seem to have it, what they've gone through. I'll just say it because they've put it out there publicly before. My parents had to go through an infidelity thing, and they stayed together, and they put in the fucking work to build up that trust again. And I respect it so much because that level of betrayal, that level of heartbreak, especially with the person that you're committing your life with, is just how do you do that? How do you carry on the next day, the next hour, the next minute after hearing about it? I I don't know, and that's lack of experience. I know, but also a lack of I don't want to say empathy, but it's I don't I've never been in that situation, and I've known others who that was the final straw, and that is for good reason. And I've seen others who realize that a mistake is a mistake, and we can continue, but there's going to be changes and there's going to be expectations, and with that comes a stronger bond. Our moments of weakness build those things, cement those things. So just continue to be the best you and put yourself out there. You'll find that special somebody, that guy or girl that treats you right, and someone that you can treat right as well. Because that's what every relationship is. It's a two-way street. If it doesn't feel that way, then something's wrong. So, to wrap up, I gotta get past my mental blocks. I have to accept that I am awkward, that I am going to awkwardly look away or into another direction or stare right through them, or I feel like I actively have to tell myself to remain in eye contact no matter who I'm talking to. It's annoying. It's draining. Oh God, it's draining. It's so draining. But it that awkwardness must happen to get to where I want to get that tried and true relationship. So to anyone who else is struggling, just know that you're not alone. Once again, to anyone else who have conquered the things that I'm talking about, the the fact that all my relationships were grounded in a time of addiction and depression, and now that I am on the other side of these things and still working through some stuff, but I don't know what to say or do. Um, and in the times of loneliness, it's easy to turn to other things. That corn hub, that that one night stand, that hit up on Tinder. It's easy to turn to those things. Um, I still have thoughts of doing that just for some sense of temporary satisfaction, but I know that's not what I want. I put down the corn. Just it's unhealthy. It makes you see people as objects. It objectifies everything. It takes the love out of any type of physical intimacy. I think the closest I get is random TV shows, anything on HBO apparently, except Last of Us. I don't know. I haven't watched Last of Us, but anyway, you got to throw that aside. If you hope to have a good relationship, and find that person, because otherwise you're messing with your mental there. The one night stands are just as toxic. Um, the temporary satisfaction. As soon as you reach that end point, you have those same thoughts of, oh God, really, or why, or how do I leave this bed? How do I leave this house or apartment? For the corn hub, what the hell was I watching? What is this shit? You know, you fuck it, I'll say it. Post nut clarity. That's what it is. So, you know, yeah, spend that time with yourself to establish that authenticity and understand who you are and what you want out of a relationship, and then just be willing to be vulnerable and meet that person, and don't get so caught up in your head when things go a little weird, because most of the time they probably didn't even notice it, and if they did, if there is any interest or love, they're probably more than willing to forgive. So know that you are loved, know that you are valued. If you feel or relate to anything that I'm talking about, please leave a comment. Let me know your experiences. Let me know how you got through certain things if you have. Because, like I said, I want to build a community around this. So take care. Have a wonderful day. And know that you are valued. And in this case, in this video, you are worthy of love. Take care.